Right guys, so gonna do a heat cycle, we'll call it. I did get the serpentine belt on. I went it with a 71.5-inch belt. That's before I have the idler on there. So I went with the idler relocation because I'm using the car intake with the truck accessories. I did have to buy a car idler. I tried to cut and modify the truck idler. I don't know where it is, but I did try to cut it. So I had some issues with that. Got a new one. Locally it was like 60 bucks at O'Reilly's, so that's really not too bad. So I do still have some giggle room and wiggle room for the idler to go on there. That should be perfectly fine. I've been running it, and it's been good. The alternator's charging. I did have to repin the alternator, so it was on the second pin from the left. If you look at it this way, I did have to repin it. And Hunter actually had a customer on Hunter Tuned YouTube channel. Hunter had a customer that had the same issue with the gold box harness. So repin it from the second one to the third one, which takes like 2 seconds to do it. You put a little, I just use like a pin, put it in there, pull the pin out, put it in the next one, and then it charges fine. So put a new lower radiator hose on. I did heat cycle it last night. I'm going to do it again today. I spent some time looking at like the injector data. I think I still have it in my pocket actually. I did this last night, and I was carrying this around all day today. I don't know why, but the Snakeater performance injector data. So I looked at the flow rates, and if you guys remember when I originally did the flow rate, I just put in 1500 for 1500 cc injectors, and then I looked at the actual data that came with it. It was 1445. I don't know if you can even see that. 1445. So I changed that to 1445 in the computer, and then I put in the average dead time. So the dead time in the computer for the injectors was like 1.3. I looked at a different tune on the sloppy tune cabinet. It was at like 0.65, but I looked at this sheet and it was 1.15. So that's what I put in the computer, and I did adjust the throttle position a little bit more, and then reset TPS. Just kind of working through some of the little things, and I'm gonna keep seeing problems because that's how this goes. I do have a little bit of a oil leak. Or maybe I don't. Maybe it was just there from before it might have been from when I pulled the valve covers off. That could have been it. But you see that? I rubbed back there. There's some oil. I noticed that the other day when I was on the bottom side. There's oil on the bottom of the manifold. So I'm sure I'm going to keep finding little problems like that. But other than that, cooling system is done. Got a good hose on the radiator on the bottom. Before I was using a different hose. I was using this little guy right here, and radiator comes out, and this is just like a Silverado hose, and it came out, and then I had it like this to come up into the water neck. So this was like partially kinked. So what I did was I went to O'Reilly's and I was like, hey bro, do you got hose? And he said, yeah, I got hose. They're in the back room. So I just went to go kind of look at their collection, and I found a Gates hose. It's like 28 bucks. That had pretty much the bends that I needed. I cut this off, put the rest on the bottom, and that is working pretty good. There's no kinks in it. Got the tensioner on. This tensioner is different than the truck tensioner, and it actually moves it in a little bit farther, because when I was testing it with the truck tensioner, the belt was rubbing on the water neck, so I was a little frustrated about that, but got the right tensioner on there now. I spent probably a couple hours at least messing around with a truck tensioner and like cutting it up and shaving it and grinding it and trying to make a truck tensioner work. And then I called O'Reilly's and asked them how much it was going to be, and they said it was 60 bucks, so I just went to go buy that. sometimes, guys, at least that's where I'm at with a lot of stuff. That's where I'm at. Is it worth fucking around with it for a whole day to save 60 bucks? Not really. So, where are we at? Where are we at? So yeah, I'm just gonna start it. New injector data. I should say close to correct injector data. Adjusted the TPS. A funny story. I was messing around with it last night, and all of a sudden the fuel pump started sounding funny, and the car was like running like crap. And I was like changing the tune and whatever, adjusting fuel and timing and stuff. And then I'm like, man, I wonder if it's out of gas. So I went and looked, and I just splashed a little bit of fuel in there before because I didn't want to make the same mistake I made the first time when I put 5 gallons in it and then I had to take the fuel system apart. So I just splashed a little bit in, and then just from like starting and idling and running it the last couple days, I used up the majority of that gas. So the bottom of the tank was moist, but it wasn't deep. You know what I'm saying? So put a little gas in it, and things run differently when there's gas in the car for some reason. But other than that, really where we're at right now, I went through, there was some bolts. I got a bolt in my pocket. This bolt, this was the one bolt holding in the K-member where it connects to the subframe underneath. There's 2 holes, and each side only had 1 bolt in it, and that was this bolt. So I replaced the bolts with a different metric. This is a M12 by 175. So I replaced those, put the 2 bolts back in. Yeah, because like I said, everything was just kind of like, just put in there. So I went to, I wanted to make sure those things were in there with both bolts. So I got 2 bolts in there. I did have to modify some stuff a little bit to get 2 bolts in, but that should be good now. I do want to check on that leak, make sure that it's not a consistent leak or it's going to keep happening from the valve cover, but either way I should just be able to fix the gasket or goop it or something, and I'm not too worried about that one. What else did I do? There is 1 bolt that I still have to tighten on the steering rack. I did notice, because I've been spending some time just underneath the car checking all the bolts, because I didn't do a lot of the work on the car with like putting in the K-member and all that stuff. So I keep finding stuff here and there similar to this that I don't like. So there's 1 bolt that is on the steering rack that is loose, just like hand tight again. So other than that, all the wiring is pretty much done. I still have to build like a battery mount to secure the battery in there. Is this thing still recording? This is a long video. Okay, so I still have to secure the battery. Everything is in there, all the electrical is there. I just want to build like a rack, like to clamp the battery down to the subframe and make sure the battery is secure in case it flips over. And then loom everything. I gotta loom everything. So I'm not sure if I posted this yet on a video, but this is the starter that came with the engine, and quite frankly, I don't even know if this is an LS starter. You guys maybe can tell me. I haven't seen a starter like this with the short leg here. Usually they're both long, so this starter was kind of odd. And I remember, funny story, I actually, when I went to Hunter's shop the other day, because that thing had that weird leg on it, I'm like, dude, can I borrow this? Because he had a starter on the floor at his shop. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I take this? And he was like, nope, go ahead, take it. Because I was sketched out by this starter because it was different than what I've seen in the past. And turns out that this starter was a big problem. And my issue that I had before with having to ground it with the jumper cable around, even though I have excessive grounding, because I'm running 0 gauge welding wire from block to chassis, and then I'm running a 0 gauge welding wire ground from block to the negative on the battery, and then I also have the same wire and a chassis ground on the back. So I feel like my grounding was excessive, and I'm like wondering why the hell this thing doesn't start without another ground. It was just the starter. The starter was just not working. So took the one that I borrowed from Hunter because I was sketched out about this thing. Had a feeling it was weird. And put that other one in. It starts and runs like just fine. No problems, no issues, no jumper, anything. So chased that for a couple days. I think that's it. I said I was going to start it, right? Let's try that. See if it runs. I haven't started it yet since I adjusted the TPS, so maybe it'll just run it and start and die. Just kind of adjusting the fuel a little bit. It's rubbing kind of high. I added some fuel to it, but feels a little, seems a little much on the VE table, like it's up in the 60s at idle. I don't really like that. I like it a little bit more towards like maybe 40, 50. So I'm gonna, and it's idling at like 1200. Maybe take a little bit out of the throttle position and see what that does. Then we'll reset it. Reset throttle position. So hopefully this will be a little better. It was like really lean before too, so I did add some. There, she died. So it seems like it gets a little bit unhappy as it starts to warm up. So still gonna work on some of the cold starting to warm up stuff, but ideally it's all gonna change probably when I go drive it, because what I should really do is, you know, dial it in while it's warm and then driving, and then work on the cold start stuff and like the warm up enrichment from cold to warm. So it really dial in VE and timing everything while it's warm, and then the warm up enrichment should be a completely separate thing. But what I'm doing now, just because I haven't driven it yet, is dialing in stuff backwards, kinda. So gonna get it close, take it out and drive it. I want to give you guys a little bit of an update. That's where we're at. So I really just have to loom all the wiring and secure the battery, and I should be good to drive it. Oh, I still want to add the boost controller too. So Matt did send me a valve, and I'm gonna probably do like a tee off one of the vacuum lines or something, and then run some lines to the top of the gates and add the boost controller, set it up to the computer, and hook the valve up. And yeah, but I don't think that's really necessary. I mean, I don't have to do that to go drive it. What I really want to do before I go drive it is loom the wiring and mount the battery, and then we can go drive. So that's it for this. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.